Hello guys, back with another video. I just want to cover 2019 test 1A, and we'll be coding for that now. Okay, so in this one, we're using the Maclaurin series to approximate the value of ln 1 plus x. Okay, and then we're given a formula, so the expansion of how the Maclaurin series actually approximates it, right? It gives us the values from 1 up to 6. Okay, and it's like write a program that can read a list of numbers x from a text file called input.txt. For each value in the input file, write the approximate ln 1 plus x values to a text file called output.txt. The approximate values must be accurate to 3 decimal places. You may need to sum the first 10 or more terms to get 3 decimal places of accuracy. Check what the value of ln 1 plus x should be on your calculator. Make use of user-defined functions, however, this is not a requirement. Some ideas include log, approx, and power. Test each of your functions individually before trying to test if your whole program works together. So in this test, we're told not to use CMath, the power function, but I'm going to use it, okay, because if I don't use power, I'll just have to make like a bunch of functions, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, so bring in your library for inputting and outputting, reading and writing from text files. Okay, and I'm going to use CMath as well. Okay, cool. So in main, I'm going to create a variable called input file of type input file of type ifstream, and I'm going to use it to open the text file where I'm reading data from, and that's going to be called input.txt. Don't forget your semicolon. I'm quickly going to go to my input file and insert the x values we're given. Example 1 is 0.30 and negative 0.2. Okay, I'm just going to save that. Come back to my code. Okay, so I'm reading in more than one data value, right, from my input file right into my x variable. So I'm going to make a variable called x of type double and initialize it to 0. So I'm going to be reading in x values from my text file, and now every time, let's imagine this runs once. So the first value in my input text file will be sent from my input.txt into this variable x. So the variable x will no longer hold 0, it will hold 0.3 because that's the first value in my input.txt file. Okay, so when a value comes in, right, what are we gonna do? We are going to use this formula for the Maclaurin series and sum approximations. Okay, so some values using this formula. Okay, wait 1 second. We're going to use the formula and multiply and divide. Yeah. I'm trying to find the English to say this correctly. Okay, we're going to sum up the terms in the approximation. So in the Maclaurin series, yes, we're going to sum up the terms, right? So remember the terms, according to the summation that we have, the terms will start at 1 and go up to 10. So minimum is 10, right? It says we have to sum the first 10 or more terms, right, to get 3 decimal places of accuracy. So because we're going to be summing multiple terms, right, and we know where we're starting, I'm going to use a for loop and name it, use the variable n within, because that's what's changing in my summation, right? In the series, the n value changes. It goes from 1 and ends at 10. So it will go from 1 up to and including 10 and in steps of 1. Okay, so each value of x that comes in, I am creating a Maclaurin series for it, which would start at n equals, the first term would be n equals 1, and it goes up to including n equals 10. All right. Then within that, I'm now going to use the formula we're given. So can you see that formula there? What is it? It is, I'm going to use power -1 to the power n plus 1, right? Times x, which is what we're reading in. Oh wait, it's x, right, to the power n, and this whole thing is going to be divided by n, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to store the results in a variable called summation. Okay, so summation is going to equals to that. Okay, but remember, every time I run this loop, let's say it runs for n equals 1, it performs the calculation, okay, and then it's like, okay, summation, you now have this value. Now when it comes to n equals 2, right, it performs this calculation and discards what we got from n equals 1. So to include the previous term, okay, which is for n equals 1, I'm going to do that. So in the beginning, summation is equal to 0, right? So for the first n equals 1, this is 0 plus n equals 1. And then for n equals 2, it then takes the summation for n equals 1 and includes n equals 2. And then that continues until n equals 10. And each term being done is then added together, and the final result is put into the variable called summation. Okay, Now we are done running a loop for this x value. So this while loop will input an x value, then enter this loop, perform the summation for this specific x value, and then we need to display that specific summation, right? For the x value we got. Oh, I'm saying output. When I test my code, I always use CMath, Cout, to see if it's going to match with the example solution given there in my test paper. Okay, so yeah, so this is the line where we output that summation for that specific value in the input file. Right, now remember you bring in another x value, so this loop runs for one summation for one x value, and then the while loop then goes again, because why? There's more than one value in the input text file, so this has to run again. But if we run this loop again, it's going to take the previous summation for the previous x value and include it in the calculations for the next x value. So to prevent that, outside this for loop below, so just after we display our summation for the first x value, we're going to reset summation to 0, so that when the next x value comes in, the new summation for that x value is not affected by the summation of the approximation of the previous x value. Okay, cool. So that loop will continue running until it's time for all the values. I'm just going to run this code and see if we're getting the correct output, like in the test brief. Okay, it seems like we are getting the right values. It's just that, remember, we are supposed to get it to 3 decimal places, and this one's just fixing it to more than that. So I'm going to use input output manipulation. So this library allows me to change what's being displayed either in a text file or in the console output. So remember, I'm just doing console output for my debugging, for the sake of me debugging, right? But later on, I will change that output, the cout, to display the output in the output.txt file. So whenever you want to fix a number, right? So you want to change how it's displayed, you're going to use set precision. Set precision will then start chopping the number down. If it's set to 3, it will only show the first 3 digits, right? In the case where we want to fix the output after the decimal point, we use fixed, and that will fix it after the decimal point. So I'm just going to run this again and show you that it actually fixes it to 3 decimal places. There we go. I'm quickly going to go to my text file. I just want to also test. We're given 2 cases to test here, right? So I'm just going to input the second example values. Okay, done. I'm now going to run this code again and see if I get the solutions to the second test case we're supposed to run. And yes, I am. Okay, so what I'm going to do is up here, create the OF stream. I'm going to create a variable called output file of type OF stream, and this one is going to not only open but create and open the output.txt file that I need to display my results, which is stipulated in the brief. So output file, there we go. And this will then, I'm just gonna close. Yeah, so this line will display my results, which is the summation, whereas my results which I stored in the summation variable in the output.txt file using this object called output file, right? Set precision still works with that, fix still works with that. Cool. I'm presetting the summation, which is also crucial because you don't want your previous x value to affect the next one in any way. Okay, it is good coding practice to close the files you used using the object. So we used the output file for the output.txt and input file for the input.txt. Closing both of those. Okay, and that's the end of my program. Just gonna run it again to make sure there's no errors. Cool. So we return 0 for this code. Everything is compiled and run successfully. And that's all, guys, for this one. Thank you for watching. Please comment on how I should improve my videos or do anything different. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.